Welcome back to the second season of Real Well Radio. Brian McNichol here with Frank Benton of Benton, right?
Yep.
Enhanced Property Appearances, Streets is a Success podcast. Anything else?
Real estate stuff, investments.
Investments, that kind of thing. You do home improvements?
Yep.
Okay. The way we usually work this is, and you have a great story. I love it. We usually, go back and kind of let you lay out the groundwork to where you got where you're at, starting in like high school or something.
Yeah.
But we met at a mastermind group in the Northeast, and I got to hear your story a little bit and really was impressed. So I wanted to have you on. Can you just start before high school, like just give us an idea?
Yeah. So before high school, I'd say middle school, like in school, I was always like a class clown.
They can't see your face though. There you go.
Talking here, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, whatever you want.
So I was a class clown in school. Didn't really take it serious. I would take it serious for like portions just to see like what can I really do here.
Yeah.
And I would get like A's and B's. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fuck around and I don't care and have fun. Like I feel like I used to laugh to hide from like pain and stuff and joke around to get away from the reality at home, which I didn't have the best upbringing, but it wasn't terrible. My mom had 8 kids. So I'm the oldest boy of 8 kids. She did a really good job providing for us, but it was
in the same house.
In the same house, yeah.
In Port Richmond.
In Port Richmond, Kensington, Fishtown. We moved around.
Row 3-bedroom.
Yep. So 2 girls had a room, boys had a room, mom had a room.
Okay.
So 5 boys, 3 girls, and then my mom and later my stepdad.
Cool.
But schooling. I always knew I was smart if I applied myself. I never really applied myself. I just didn't take it serious. It wasn't instilled in me to take it serious either, right? Like my mom couldn't focus on one kid, making sure that their grades were all up to.
That had to be so hard.
So. And went to high school, ended up just getting by, got by, made it to high school, got by 9th grade, 10th grade I failed, went back in 10th grade again, dropped out, went to Kensington High School.
Okay.
So went there with friends, ended up meeting friends while I was there, and same thing, didn't take it serious. I ended up getting hit by a car, so I knew I was getting a lawsuit when I turned 18. Okay. So as in high school years, I'm only a few years away from getting all of this money, life-changing money, I thought. So I dropped out, waited till I was 18, got in the streets a little bit as far as hustling, selling drugs and stuff. And when that money came, I kind of blew it all. It wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be.
You're not the first person that has told me that story.
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks it's going to be a ton of money. And
yeah, something happens, like you inherit money or you get in some type of lawsuit, and then it's, it's especially at 18, like what do you know at 18 that you can invest? Even if you got like $100,000 or $50,000, you don't know enough to even do anything with that. But I thought that was going to, change the trajectory of my life, and it was the opposite and kind of made it worse, right? Because now I have an ego, now I have money, now I have access to drugs, now I'm, got more money than my friends, but I'm not an adult yet. Right. I'm only 18. So that's kind of what it looked like growing up until probably like 22, 23. Just like working side jobs, working with people here and there, but hustling still.
Okay. So at what point, did the hustle stop?
I would say it stopped when I went to jail, probably.
Okay. And what was that like?
It was the first time I ever went to jail. I got sentenced to 5.5 years. I got locked up for aggravated assault, attempted murder charge. They dropped the attempted murder, so I got found guilty of an aggravated assault. It was an eye opener for me. It was, what did I do to get me here? I had to really, really do some internal work in the sense of not only what got me here, but what created me into that person that was able to do that.
Right.
So just did a lot of self-improvement work, personal development while I was there. Like as a grown man, right? I'm 24, 25, 26 at this time. Right from wrong, right? So
Can't play dumb about right from wrong for the most part.
Yeah, so I had to look in the mirror and just say, all right, I shouldn't have been doing this. I shouldn't have been doing this. I should have been doing this. I should have been doing this, and that's really when it all changed for me. Yeah.
So that little video that you put out on social media like, not that long ago, it's like help me, like get ready for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you went to jail mid-20s.
Yeah.
And you were there until 30-ish.
31. I came home.
31.
Mm-hmm.
So surrounding yourself in a prison environment with the right kind of people, it's tough to find. So you had to, I'm assuming, had to become okay with yourself being a little bit different than what. Not to like get in with the wrong crowd, because if you're in the wrong crowd in prison, it's not great. Mm-hmm. It can't be great. So what was the mindset like? How long did it take? Is a question. How long did it take you while locked up to realize, like, damn, okay, when I walk out the doors, like, I want to make sure that I never come back here.
Yeah. It was a few different things, right? It was, what am I doing with my time while I'm here? What's my plan for when I get home? And so the first goal is to get out of here when you're supposed to, right? Your minimum. So there's no other, what am I doing when I get out of here if I don't get out of here? Right. So it was, all right, what am I doing with my time? I'm going to utilize this time as best as I can. So that means I took up programming. I got my GED. I got OSHA certified. I got like 19 certificates. So it's like my whole mindset when I got there was positive and productive. If it isn't positive or productive, I don't want to be a part of it.
How long into you being there did that?
So I was in the county for 2 years fighting my case.
Yeah.
And the county's just like, you're in a cell, you get out to get on a phone, you go back in. There's no like real structure, there's no movement, there's no bettering yourself in there. You're just waiting. It's a waiting game to see if am I beat my case and going home, or do I have to go upstate, So once I got found guilty and then I went upstate and I had 3.5 more years to do, that's when I was like, okay, I'll never get this much free time again. I'll never get this much time to think, to read, to learn. This is where I got to do it at. And it was, positive and productive. If it isn't positive and productive, I don't want to be no parts of it. Like, even if I catch myself playing card games, because you can only work out so much and read so much, and so play card games sometimes. And then I will catch myself, people getting tense over a card game. All right, I'm out. And I'm wasting all right, this is a waste of my time. I'll go back in and read a book, or I'll turn on History or Discovery Channel or something, because you can have TVs and all upstate.
Yeah, so that's good. So that makes more sense. Like, to me, I didn't realize you had been in county for 2 years, and then that counted towards your time.
Yep.
So all right, so I'm assuming it happened pretty quick. So when you came out, like, was the first thought? So I got myself into not some great situations, prior to like getting clean and starting real estate and all that, and like I had people to fall back on. Like I had stuff on my plate already. And I also had parents that were supportive and that kind of thing. Yeah. Like, what was your plan? Like halfway house, and then
no. So my plan was I knew I was going to go home to a family member.
Okay.
Like I have.
You did put that in the video.
Yeah, I do have. Well, other people don't know that's watching. So I do have. My family isn't well off, so to say, but they're supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll give what they have, even though it isn't much. If it's a room, if it's advice, if it's $5, whatever I needed to have it, they'll do it. I will say that they just don't have much. So I knew I was gonna have to go home. I worked out with my sister to stay at her house. She has 4 kids too. Plus my grandma was sick. She was staying with her. So it was an overcrowded house once again, like I grew up, right?
Yeah.
I had to end up going in the basement there. But my whole thing was like work. So I came up with creating a home improvement painting type of business, like. Because I knew how to do that work from, not to the extent that I knew how to do it recently, but I knew some concept of it, right? So that was my goal to eventually get into real estate. So I was like, I'm going to work a job to save money to start my own business, then start the business, use that money to get into real estate and invest. So that was the game plan, yeah. So I had like 4 people. My buddy worked at Pepsi. I had someone else that worked at the laborers union. I had someone that was in the roofers union. So I want to work at like Jack and Jill or something, and they were like, I'll get you a job when you get out. Get you a job when you get out. And my first 2 weeks home, everyone fell through this. They had me, not because of something else.
Right,
They
right,
just
right.
weren't hiring. It was
Yeah.
2019, right before the pandemic. So I ended up going on Craigslist looking for work. I found some crazy people to work for on Craigslist, but I was doing whatever I had to do. Every day I need to work. I need to work.
Craigslist is still out there. That's good.
Yeah, I mean 5 years ago it was.
Yeah. So starting the business, what was that like? I know. So you just seem like, to me. Let me just say this. Like to me, there's like two sides to it. Like when you're coming out of a situation, like when you have already, like I already had kids, like I had bankers, I had all kinds of things like I had to deal with. You seem like you were coming out with kind of a fresh slate.
That's my advantage.
No, well, yes. That's the question. Like, but to some people it's not, because some people come out of a situation and they have nothing to work for. It's for yourself and all that, but they don't have kids to do it for. They don't have a wife to do it for. They don't have bills that have already been paid. Like someone gets clean when they're 21 or 18, and that they're just like, oh man, what am I doing this for? But you used it to your advantage. That was where I was going.
Yeah, well, so I still have responsibilities. Like I gave myself responsibilities in the sense of like I learned all this stuff, right? I learned about accountability, about being responsible, about financial planning, about credit, about bank loans, mortgage. Like I learned a lot of stuff when I was away. So I felt like on my family, my younger sister, a lot of her kids' fathers aren't in their life. My mom never worked a real job. She was waitressing and busting her ass, but no, she has no retirement, stuff like that. So I put that financial burden on me to make sure that they're okay. So that was kind of like a driving factor for me, and try to teach them some of the stuff that I knew. But also, like I came home with no habits, with no
Right.
vices.
Yeah, learn the stuff, reading about it is one thing, but then putting it into place, implementing, and actually benefiting from it.
Well, that's one reason that I always you see me on Instagram or Facebook making videos and stuff, and I preach to my family a lot because what it's also doing is keeping me sharp.
Right.
Like if I'm speaking it all the time, I got to stay on my game, right? How can I not be practicing what I'm preaching?
Right.
So
the company's been for how long? The paint company?
3.5 years now, maybe going on 4.
And how many trucks on a given day do you have going?
7.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That you really were able to scale fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'm just aggressive with growth.
You're aggressive with it, and you weren't scared. So as far as funding that, like bank loans, like how did you end up doing that?
Oh, I worked 2 jobs when I first came home, saved up $30,000. I was literally saved a lot. Every penny I got, sacrificed a lot. Had the same shoes for first year, but I saved up.
I still do that now.
Yeah, I fell back on. I had that 30 to fall back on though. So when so as when I first started the company, I'm setting the guys up and I'm working with them and the crew. When they're done, I'm still working.
Yeah.
I'm going to another side job, so to say. I'm working on the weekends, and I had, the guys that I had work with me, I don't want to work on the weekends. If I bribe them into it or give them extra money, they will. But I'm still. Every weekend is another $1,000, say. Mm-hmm. So 50 more weekends. Yeah. I'm up 50 more grand on you.
Right.
So that's kind of how I looked at it, and then next thing you know, I got a couple $100,000 saved, and I just started buying more trucks, hiring more people, and was able to. I'm really good at. I think that I'm good at feeling people out, and if there's I feel like someone's good for the team, I'll bring them on, and I'll try to do everything to keep them on. And you got to get rid of the shitheads quick.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I make a joke nobody watches this but my parents. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there are people that reached out to me business wise and have said I literally watch it to listen to people like you who have scaled quickly and efficiently and have been able to not go broke doing it. Yeah. But that's awesome, dude.
You gotta be obsessed. You gotta want it and be obsessed with it. Because if it's I want to get to the point to where I don't gotta pick up a tool no more. A lot of contractors they're self-employed. They're not really business owners.
Right.
And they get to the point I wish I could do that. You can. You gotta put down the tools and make the decision. And as much effort as it took you to finish that house or get that lead, is the same effort you need to hire people and train them and empower them and put them in the right position.
taking that leap from stepping back from the job that has your name on it, is going
Yeah.
to be in your name and you're responsible for, and say like not even. I'm assuming there's jobs that you don't even step foot on.
Yeah.
So that's hard,
Yeah.
for a lot of people to do. But that's awesome. And the podcast, when did you start that?
The podcast we started the beginning of this year, say March 2024.
Okay.
So we first started it.
And what was so for me, for this, like I saw a couple people doing it, and I just wanted to get belly to belly with business owners, make content for everybody. Like, obviously not turn this into like I'm
Joe
getting
Rogan?
ads, and I'm not turning into Joe Rogan, even though like I do watch him a lot.
Yeah.
But for you, like, what was your guys' mindset on that?
So the podcast, me and a friend I was locked up with, we used to do like personal development classes when we were locked up. It's called Empowerment 30, 30 minutes of empowering the inmates with things that they didn't know about. It could be credit, it could be stocks,
That's
it could
awesome.
be real estate.
Were they bringing people in from the outside?
No, so it was the inmates, and we would have guests come in sometimes. Like they would come, but majority we're doing all of like the homework ourselves. There was people, believe it or not, there were successful people in prison.
Oh yeah,
People
100%.
with real estate portfolios, multiple businesses, millions in stocks. Like they do crimes and go to jail like anyone else. So they were helping facilitate the meetings too. But so me and Jalil, we got really close in there. We had the same mindset. Both came from a lot of the people weren't from Philadelphia up there. We were up in Forest County. It's up by Erie. But me and him from Philly, we clicked a little bit, and we just stayed in touch. So we got home. He got in a little bit of real estate. He has some things going positively for him. Food truck.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he started. He's doing good.
What's it called?
Started with what his food truck. It's the Yard Lounge. And then he's working for a nonprofit, Area 32, and he's also doing some real estate stuff. It's really cool to see him grow too, because you get told you'll be back. Like that's the famous thing. Like you'll be back. It's an 88% chance you'll be back in the first year actually. So we just stay connected, and then we see in the podcast world like people. Usually if you have a podcast, you're trying to deliver a message, right? It's like there's a purpose behind it. You just don't get on there. People do get on there and crack jokes, but the goal will be to like reach out to people, and so that's what we ended up doing. We're like, hey, if you want to get in front of people, show stories of people coming from
redemption stories.
Exactly, like Streets to Success, right? That's the name of the podcast, and a lot of people think that I'm not from the streets. I ain't gonna. But everyone has a story, right? Whether it's addiction, whether it's abuse, whether it's we overcame a weight loss journey, health issues. Like we had some people with some crazy stories. One individual was he got locked in a basement when he was a kid for probably a couple years. His mom would come put an onion at the top of the thing. So him and his sister were down there for a couple years in a basement with a bucket. His sister ended up dying in his arms from starvation, and he had to go to court and testify on his mom when he was 7, 8 years old. And his story is crazy. He had to get adopted. Dad wasn't in his life. Yeah. So they're all different crazy stories, right? And it's like, well, someone overcame that. And my biggest thing is, and I hear people with excuses all the time, but there's people that start off with less or in a worse situation and made something out of it. So what more proof do you need of possibilities, right? It showed that this person, I have 2 kids and I don't got no help. This person had 4 kids and didn't have no help. Plus they were in debt from a divorce.
Right.
And they made something happen. So what's your excuse now? So it's just to show possibilities. It's to, highlight success stories and basically start a community where people can come to for advice or, hey, I went through that. Can you connect me with this person? And, try to get the internet, use the internet as a tool to bring people together.
It's amazing. And you just said you had a studio. My next question was going to be like, before you had the studio, did you ever do like on site, different places?
Yeah, we went to Tropical Treats. That's in Northern Liberties. He's a guy that was in the streets, arrested. Now he does like luxury water ice. I guess water ices are $15 a piece.
What makes it luxury? Just like bigger chunks of fruit?
He puts actual fruit in it. It's homemade. He
awesome.
Decorates it. It comes in like a hat. Some come in like a half a pineapple.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. But we went to his place. We had a couple other where we set up We went to a concert. Had like people come, like different performers come on at the concert. We're gonna do a couple more like that. It's pretty cool to set it up. It's a lot of work, but
Yeah.
it shows like we'll go and
Well,
like we're putting the work in.
yeah, and you're learning something new too. Like every time you go and set up somewhere, you gotta learn how to plug everything
Angles, like
in.
it's different angles, different lighting,
Yeah,
different settings,
microphones.
microphone distance. But it's fun, dude. Because like, look, I don't drink, do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't go to the bar. I don't party. I don't really do none of that stuff, right? I'm, as a grown up, and people still do it. That's fine. But like, that's like, we're not collecting no money from this yet. But it's more of like something positive to get into that I'm going to take up blocks of my day with that can help other people. And what else? What else am I going to do with my time?
It's good stuff. I mean, you have nieces and nephews,
Yeah.
but no kids. So
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, there's a lot of time in the day, and you'll drive yourself absolutely insane if you're constantly, enhanced property. That so diversifying
Yeah.
is great. I mean, you have a full plate. It sounds like on a constant basis. Like, do you have a morning routine that you go through once you get up? Meditation, breathing, and any of that kind of stuff?
No, so a little bit. It's just like regular routine: get up, brush my teeth, drink coffee. I need like a half an hour just to think about my day. Like, okay, because it's like so busy. Like, I might have to shoot 2 podcasts, go to 4 estimates. Still do sales.
Mm-hmm.
Go to 2 estimates. I might have a meeting with enhanced property appearance still. So I'll do a vlog one day to show people like I got a crazy day ahead of me, and it's like time block like this. I post my schedule up sometimes. I cross out what it's for, but you'll see. And that's just like how you become successful, right? If you plan your day every day, if you plan your week, you plan your year, and just chip away at it.
Yeah.
Chip away at it. But as far as like a ritual, not really. I do like cold plunging. I don't got one yet, but I do go to spas and I do the cold plunge. I think that'll be great because you feel like a different person after that.
Yeah, so it's like there's actually a cryotherapy down the street that I've done before, but I didn't love it. But to replace the cold plunge, what I do at my gym is I go in the sauna and then just go right into a cold shower. 2-3 minutes. It shocks the system. It's time efficient. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm filled because unless you're Rogan or someone who can afford like one of those thousands of dollars things, you're filling up a bucket and you're
putting
bringing
bags of ice.
Yeah, and even those things are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
What else we got here? So one or a couple pieces of advice that you would give for somebody starting any business, most likely a contracting business, because that's your hot spot.
So get around the right people. Get around people that are where you want to be. We're so like scared to ask for help because it makes us seem like weak or it makes us uncomfortable. But you have to ask people that have been there. I mean, you can do all your research online. You can look up, and this is actually some advice. Do your research online. Look at YouTube. Look on podcasts. Still listen to contractor podcasts. Go to networking events, but really like get a mentor. Get to talk to someone that's been there. Be a sponge. And you got to be driven, though, right? It's like you got to be driven and know that you're going to run into a lot of errors, and a lot of times you're going to be questioning what you're doing. Because I wanted to give up 1,000 times with the contractor business, especially when I was on the tools. I'm painting houses, I'm doing estimates, I'm doing marketing, managing teams, ordering paint, I'm picking up supply. Like I was driving myself crazy.
Right.
But you had to go a little bit crazy and push through, and then you gotta understand that like you need to go through all of that because then now I can delegate and I know how to delegate and I know exactly the traits to hire for what person.
It's very hard to delegate a job to somebody when you don't know how to do it perfectly yourself.
Exactly. So for my business, I did every aspect of it. From the time the sale comes in, the lead comes in. But before that, I market it. I advertise it on Google. I learned SEO. I learned Google Leads. I learned Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. The boost and post and stuff. And then I learned how to sell. Like, so you learn marketing, learn sales. You usually know how to do the work already, right? If you're starting a business, you know how to frame houses, you know how to do tile, whatever it is, you know your trade. But then now you have to be able to learn how to teach it to someone else.
Right.
So, and then for all the way up to, asking a customer for a review, sending out an invoice. Like, some people don't know how to send out an invoice. You're going to text them a next for your money. Like,
Right.
no, you got to have software to actually send them and give them an option. Do you want to pay with a credit card? Do you want to pay with check? If you have cash, I'll give you a little discount on cash. It's like, it's just like different aspects of the business you got to learn. And I learned a lot of this stuff from talking to people and looking it up on YouTube, looking it up on different podcasts and stuff.
Right, that's good stuff. So a lot of us have trouble, and you've accomplished a lot in a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah.
A lot of us have trouble patting ourselves on the back. Like, if you could pick one thing that you've overcome, what would it be?
One thing that I overcame,
or did, or
Mm-hmm.
had some success with.
I wasn't ready for that question, so let me think. I don't really like patting myself on the back.
That was the beginning of the question.
Yeah,
You don't like doing it.
And I don't like when other people do it either, because like you're going to be patting me for the rest of my life, because I'm not stopping.
Right.
And I'm saying that humbly, not arrogant at all. I just know how driven I am, and I have big goals. I'm a big thinker and a big visionary. But right now, to be able to show other people possibilities of starting with nothing, like, because even like I have friends and people I know to this day that still don't own a house, that still don't have things that other society would just say is like the normal thing. You're supposed to own a house, like you're supposed to show them possibilities for that. You're supposed to have a 750 credit score, like so. And then I was even able to teach a lot of people some of the basics of becoming a young adult, because we lack parents that are even someone to look up to. Like, I love my mom to death, but I don't want to be like her. Like, she did the best she could, but I never had that role model.
Right.
So I guess that could be a thing too, like just being a role model to others.
That's good stuff. What does, I know you have these, a year out, 5 years out, 10 years out look like for you?
Yeah, so a year out, just going to keep continuing to grow. We're doing like more renovation stuff now. So I think we have like 25 employees. A year out, hopefully get to like 40 employees.
25 employees with 3 years in business?
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
7 trucks on the road every day?
Well, I can't even take all the credit for it, because my team's on board and they make a good culture. Like, when I'm not there, they're helping the culture, they're helping the goals, they're helping us move forward. So I'll pat them on the back for that.
Of course.
Being good teachers, being good teammates. So yeah, probably about 40 guys, a higher revenue. Did the podcast, hopefully we're out of my office and we have an actual studio, and we're getting some sponsorships to get in front of a bigger audience outside of Philadelphia. Doing some more speaking engagements. I love going back, talking to kids. I love, empowering people and giving them some advice.
Oh yeah, how? I mean, I was made as shit that I couldn't go. But how was that being on stage with Eddie Alvarez?
Oh man, it was like, dude accomplished so much that it's like, how can I follow up this, right?
Who went first?
Eddie went first.
Yeah.
So I was glad he went first, because I was just like a little nervous. Yeah, with Eddie, it was pretty cool, because you've seen him. He's actually from Kensington too, which is where I'm originally from. So to see him go on his journey, it was a beautiful thing. And you can kind of relate to it. He's in a whole different realm, right? He's like mentally.
This happened before.
This just turned into some Diddy shit.
No Diddy, bro. When Brian was on here, he said it like 6 times.
Oh, no Diddy.
Yeah. We
No,
just keep rolling.
We're back. So yeah, with Eddie, it's like he's done like physically challenging things, like, and mentally too. Probably mentally just as much as physically, but yeah, Eddie's a beast. And I just had to tell him, like, that's Eddie's story, right? Eddie has his story, I have mine. So I was just like, I got to do the best I can to tell my side of the story with what I have going on.
Man. It's good stuff. And I was mad I couldn't go down.
It was great. It was good. I did better than I expected, because that was I think it was like 100 and some people there. That was the largest group of people I spoke in front of. And I want to get on stage eventually. You're talking about 5 years down the line and speak in front of tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
That's my ultimate goal.
It's good stuff. Some Tony Robbins shit.
Yeah, love Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, all them guys.
Yeah, so like speaking of that real quick, like kind of want to wrap it up in a little bit, but like what are some podcasts that you really dive heavy on?
All right, so we're gonna do Alex Ramosi, The Game, and he's like
No strip.
Yeah, but he gives the most practical advice that's like, oh, it's that simple.
It helps because of what he's wearing too. He's just wearing the.
Dude,
he
don't
beard.
care.
Yeah.
He'll wear a beater with a flannel with Crocs on, but it's not about the image, right? He's giving you actual game.
Right.
That's one. You said, Tony Robbins. He don't drop it a lot though, that much. He probably got a million other things going on, but Tony Robbins.
His books are more, what you go to.
Yeah. Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory. It's more like he got people that come on and have stories, and he's giving advice, but it's a lot of psychology in his stuff. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson's a monster, dude. Yeah, dude, he's a very powerful person and thinks like no other person I've ever heard.
So that's like the other thing, like just finding time, like you're talking about your schedule being so stacked, like, and mine is too, with a lot of things, but finding time to consume that kind of stuff, and it's mostly at the gym for me, at least. But you ever listen to like Theo Von, like
No.
just to like get some funny shit, but he also like you know who he is?
No.
You know who Theo Von is?
No.
You gotta look him up. He's a comic. He's hilarious. But I won't even go into that. All right, so let's wrap it up. I got a new final question.
Okay.
If aliens came to Earth and said, "Take me to your leader," who would you bring them to? And it can't be you. Someone who you thinks would best represent the human race, or whatever you want to say.
Can we say God? Is like God?
I mean, how you gonna bring him to God?
Oh, like a physical person?
Yeah, like someone alive today. Like someone who you'd feel comfortable with these aliens who may zap us all and kill us.
Yeah.
So obviously, for me, it wouldn't be the president. It would be, I don't know. It would be like Rogan or somebody like that. Or like Jalen Hurts, like someone who's serene and can speak. It's a crazy question.
Yeah, it is a crazy question. Let me think about it real quick before I just say a name.
Just like someone who you think wouldn't get us killed.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, all right, these people are not like, killing the planet.
You gotta think of, I would like to pick someone that is like overall a good person, like they're well-rounded.
Yeah.
So it would have to be for me. So you basically tell me to idolize somebody. Dude, you can't go wrong with Tony Robbins, I don't think.
It's a good one.
Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, they're two of my favorite. Seem genuine people that have good hearts, that know how to make money. But it seems like they put the people first. So,
it's awesome. Appreciate it, Frank.
Thanks for having me, man.
Tell them how to reach you.
You can find Paint and Renovations, Enhanced Property Appearance. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Google, Yelp, TikTok, Streets of Success, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My personal stuff, Frank Lee on Facebook, Quite Frankly on Instagram, Quite Frankly on TikTok.
Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks, guys.